What's going on, my beautiful DC brothers and sisters? It's your boy, The Truth 31. Hit like, subscribe for all that DC goodness in the face, neck, and chest. And this is a video that I wanted to make of my top 5 comic book action scenes in comic book movies. And surprise, surprise, there might be some Marvel movies in here. I know, shocking, right? Because, we all know Marvel is trash. But, but within that trash, there is some gold mines here and there. And just a reminder, this is my list, okay? So, because I know that there's going to be somebody in the comments like, hey, how come you didn't include this scene from this movie? Or how come you didn't include this scene from that movie? Again, it's the top 5. Trust me, if I was to make a top 20, there'd be a lot of scenes left in here. But I had to choose the top 5 of scenes that really impressed me and meant the most to me, either when I saw it in theaters or at home. So that's why I made a top 5. But trust me, if I made a top 20 or top 30 scenes in comic book movies or TV shows, I would include everything that I love. But this is a top 5, so I had to make it short. But yeah, I hope you enjoy the list. If you agree or disagree, let me know in the comments down below, respectfully, of course. And I'll see you guys later. But in the meantime, enjoy the video. Truth out. All right, so number 5 is Blade, Wesley Snipes' 1998 film that, quite frankly, just brought back the comic book movie genre from the dead. I know some people might say X-Men, 2000 X-Men, but for me, this was the start of the comic book fandom. This was the resurgence of the comic book movie fandom. And this movie, what can I say about this opening sequence? Wesley Snipes looking badass as all hell. The vampire, the mythic vampire. And that's what I love about this scene. Not only is Wesley Snipes just fucking up all these vampires, bro. Just handling these fools. But they treat the character of Blade like he's a myth. Like he's in a room full of vampires. And everyone is terrified of Blade. And the way they whisper to one another, they're like, oh my God, it's him, it's Blade. Is he real? It's almost, he's like Batman. He's like Batman in a lot of ways, just a more R-rated version of the character. And Blade, obviously, when I saw this in movie theaters, I didn't even know that Blade was a Marvel character. I was like, what? Like this is a Marvel character? That's insane. And again, I saw this and it just blew me away. The fight sequences, the choreography it's severely underappreciated. I don't see enough people talking about the choreography for Blade. It's awesome. And Wesley Snipes obviously just owns the role. He is Blade. He's my Blade for forever. I'm sorry, Ali. I'm sure you might do a wonderful job with that whack-ass PG-13 Blade under Kevin Feige, but this is my Blade right here. The R-rated, kick-ass, brutal. And he's amazing. And the sword play was awesome. It's so good. It's so good. If you haven't watched Blade, do me a favor and go watch it. It's one of the most underrated Marvel films of all time. Again, people don't realize that this is a Marvel film. In the age of the MCU and the Marvels and stuff like that, this was the first. And of course, and Wesley Snipes, again, owns the role. I love this movie. It has one of the best action sequences. This scene just set the tone for the entire movie, and it just shows you how just important an action sequence really is. So yeah, Blade is my number 5. I mean, it's phenomenal. So my number 4 is Captain America: Winter Soldier. To me, this is my second favorite MCU film of all time. The first one being Iron Man. This is obviously my second. The rest is trash. But Captain America: Winter Soldier, I love this movie. When I first saw it, I didn't think much of the first Avenger, the first Captain America film. I thought it was okay. I was like, okay, this is fine. But then I saw this one, and just the Russo brothers just took the action on a whole new level. I love the more grounded hand-to-hand combat. I love the more gritty feel and realism to it. It feels like it was the first time that I actually felt like a Marvel movie was made for adults. It didn't have that kiddie, stupid humor. Of course, it had humor, but it felt real, and it worked within the context of the story. It wasn't like, the whole, wah, 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 fart jokes. It was appropriate for the movie. And Chris Evans, Captain America, like the fight sequence here is phenomenal. It's one of the best fight sequences in any of the Marvel cinematic films. And it's just phenomenal. And it really made Captain America badass. Like, I loved it. Like, the way he uses the shield, the head-to-head combat. I'm not a fan of the of the shaky cam. I felt that they could have just, toned that down a bit. But overall, I mean, it works within the film. And of course, Bucky, Winter Soldier, the whole relationship in that film is phenomenal. Like this scene alone, like, really stands apart from the rest of the MCU movies and of this film in general. So, I mean, it's phenomenal. I love Chris Evans as Captain America. He did a fantastic job. And this, again, like this film, Winter Soldier, is considered to be one of the best MCU movies out of the whole, like, 22 movies. And this scene alone proves it. So, yeah, that's my number 4 right there. Captain America, Winter Soldier. My number 3 is Spider-Man 2. My boy Tobey Maguire, who's the best live-action Spider-Man of all time. Hashtag Trash Holland is trash. Spider-Man 2, I mean, first of all, Tobey Maguire is wearing the best Spider-Man suit, the best live-action Spider-Man suit of all time, the chosen suit, the worthy suit, the God suit. I mean, Spider-Man 2, the best Spider-Man film of all time. It's up there with one of the best, with being one of the best superhero movies of all time. And this train sequence alone, I mean, bro, like, no other Spider-Man film has been able to top this train sequence. What Sam Raimi was able to do with this train sequence alone, it's one of the best action set pieces in any comic book movie. Like, it's phenomenal, and it's so chaotic, and the way the CGI still holds up. I love the way that Tobey Maguire, like, swings from the train tracks, and he's, like, sliding through the cars. He's on top of the train. He's creeping through the windows. It's like it's so good, bro. Like, it still holds up. I love the action. It feels so chaotic, and it feels like Spider-Man, and the way he's saving people at the same time while trying to stop the train, while trying to fight Dr. Octopus. Like there's so much going on, and it just works. Again, it's one of the best action sequences that I've ever seen in a comic book movie, and it's the best sequence in any Spider-Man film ever. Like, still to this day, Spider-Man 2 still holds up as being the best Spider-Man movie ever made. And I love that. Shout out to Sam Raimi, who did an incredible job, and Tobey Maguire, obviously the best Spider-Man, the chosen suit, the chosen Spider-Man, the worthy Spider-Man, the only Spider-Man. But yeah, this whole sequence was absolutely phenomenal. I recommend it. So that's my number 3. My number 2 is my boy Batfleck. Love it. Love it. The nightmare sequence. I know some people might be surprised that I didn't choose the warehouse scene. I love the warehouse scene. Obviously, it's one of my favorite scenes. But I feel like the nightmare scene, like this whole single one-shot scene of Batfleck just messing up all these soldiers by himself. Like, Snyder really illustrates just how unbreakable this Batman is. Like, he's taken on an army by himself, all in one take, dude. And I love the trench coat. I love the fight choreography. This whole scene is just so unique, and there's so much going on that I've never seen this in any comic book movie ever. It just works so well and so brilliantly. The fight choreography, the camera work, I mean, it's just phenomenal. It's one of the best scenes. And of course, my number 1, you already know, Man of Steel, the fight scene between Superman and General Zod. This is what I wanted to see my entire life. I want to see this in live action, and I did. Just 2 unbreakable Kryptonians fighting in the middle of Metropolis, just going at it, buildings crashing, the destruction everywhere. This is like how Superman would fight Zod in the middle of Times Square in New York City. Like, there would just be massive amounts of destruction, and I loved it. Oh my God, it was so cool to see. I was in the theaters watching this, and I was like, my mind was blown. I was like, oh my God, like, is this really happening right now? And it still the special effects are incredible. I don't know what VFX team that Zach is working with or worked with on this movie, but I mean they deserve a raise because it's incredible. Like I loved it. Like it feels like a comic book come on the big screen. And you see this countless times in comic books where there's massive amounts of destruction and superhero fights, and it just works. Again, like only Zack Snyder can deliver something so epic, just so visually pleasing. And the camera work is never shaky. You're always in the scene, and it feels intimate, like intimate. It doesn't feel like corny. It feels real. It feels like you're watching two gods just going at it. And it works so brilliantly. And I love this scene so much. Obviously, I've seen Man of Steel 1,000 times. And every time I watch this scene, I just get more and more jacked. And it's so good. And yeah, man, it's one of my favorite scenes in the entire film. It just works. And it feels raw, it feels brutal, it feels powerful the way Kryptonians should feel. But yeah, Man of Steel, this scene is my #1 of all time. But anyway, those are my thoughts. Smash the like button, my beautiful DC brothers and sisters. Hit like, subscribe if you like my DCU content. And let me know in the comments down below, like, what is your top 5 comic book movie scenes? Is it this one? Is it Man of Steel, BVS, Spider-Man 2, any of the Marvel movies, the DC movies? Let me know in the comments down below, and let's have that discussion. But yeah, this one, Man of Steel, is my #1, will always be my #1. And I love this film. And as always, love you guys. Truth out.